Welcome, everybody. I feel like it is incredibly necessary to be extra spirited right now because we have arrived at the finale of our webinar series, and I'm so incredibly happy to have you join us tonight. If you have not been here for the other 5 webinars and heard this exact same introduction each of those times, you get to hear one more time. My name is Megan Remington. I'm our community education coordinator here at Coconino Community College. We kind of do a little bit of everything over in our community education area. We do public lectures, we do non-credit programming, we do workforce training, and everything in between. If you're ever interested in collaborating with us, please reach out. We are always happy to talk to our local communities about opportunities to engage. But that's not why you're here. You're here because we are, well, it could be why you're here. You're here because we are celebrating running in Coconino County. And more specifically, tonight, we are introducing Coconino Community College's new cross-country head coach. And believe me when I say, I really have to slow down when I say those words or I will trip all over them in a hurry. Craig Hunt is with us tonight, and we are so excited to introduce him to get people excited about the inaugural season of the Cross Country Comets in fall of 2021. But before we get started with that, I have a couple of quick announcements for you. So the first one is the Summer Learning Series. If you've never heard of it before, it is our annual free lecture series that we do for all of our community members in Coconino County, statewide, nationwide. It's all in webinars again this year, and it's going to be amazing. We've already got a few people who've expressed interest in being our speakers. So I'll make sure I give you information about how to sign up for that. And if you've never been on a webinar before, how are you going to interact with us? Well, first of all, you'll want to make sure you jump on the chat box. And when you're on your chat box here, make sure you select the little drop down so that it says all panelists and attendees. So if you have something cool to say to us, we'll all see it. It'll be a great community conversation. Also, feel free to use the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen. This webinar is being recorded, so if you have to step away for a little bit, no worries. We'll be able to share this recording with you afterwards. And with that said, we're going to go ahead and kick off by, I'm going to introduce Dr. Colleen Smith, the president of Coconino Community College. She's here to make some remarks for us and get this party started.
Megan, thank you so much. How exciting for us to have found a wonderful coach and for all of us to get to meet him tonight virtually. And I do look forward to meeting him in person. And, Nat, who is certainly a role model for all of us, probably doesn't know this, but I did athletics all while I was young, and I used to run. I was in the Junior Olympics and dreamed of someday running in the Olympics. So this is all just near and dear to my heart. As far as what athletics can do in education, and not only for our student athletes, but for all of us, as we share in that whole understanding of what it's like to be a part of a team and what it's like to cheer each other on and to really root for our students. And so I think bringing athletics to our college, it is just such a wonderful thing. And then the fact that it's running, which is something that regardless of what you do with the rest of your life, you can continue with, it doesn't mean, well, if I'm not a professional, I can't do it anymore. And so to me, it's just the perfect thing for long-lived health and wellness for all of us. And most of you on this probably know, but Dr. Nat White, he doesn't like me to call him doctor, but he is our district governing board chair and has been so supportive of the college and done so much for us for so long. And then I'm so excited because running is so much a part of his life and the support that he has shown for us as we've worked to develop this program. So thank you for that, Nat. I'm going to turn my screen off, but I am here to listen and learn, and I just can't wait to hear the discussion tonight. So thank you, and we're glad all of you are here.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. And I love your point about how important the team dynamic is. It's come up so many times over the course of our webinar series, and it really can't be understated, especially in Flagstaff and Coconino County. That value of community really permeates everywhere. And so it makes it even more exciting to see this team come together. And I know that Craig's got some good stuff to say on that. So now my next person to introduce is, if you're a part of the running community, you've probably seen him at least posting around on Facebook, because or seen him in the Daily Sun, writing columns about running in Northern Arizona. Neil Weintraub is with us tonight because he very kindly was Northern Arizona Trail Runners Association is sponsoring tonight's webinar. And so Neil was going to make a couple of remarks about kind of how this sponsorship came about, and really the value that he sees in the opportunities that are ahead for CCC.
Thanks a lot, Megan. Yeah, I met with Diana Sanchez, who's the Chief Development Officer there at CCC just last week. And that was the first I heard about this webinar series. And I took a look at the list and I was like, oh my gosh, this is, I'd already missed the first two. And I looked ahead and I of course saw the last one, and I thought, well, that would be a really cool one to sponsor, because we've got my mentor, Nat White, who I've looked up to and looked at way in the distance when we used to race against each other in the 80s. Nat and a bunch of other community members, when I got here in 1986, had the Flagstaff Road and Track Club, an amazing series. And this is in the days before, the internet, if you remember those days. And, these guys were doing everything by hand and scoring things, scoring races by hand. And I was just blown away. And, it was just such a joy to be able to race here and find that community. And so then I also noticed that the new coach would be introduced. Little did I know at the time that the new coach, Craig Hunt, was my wife's personal trainer. So we made that connection, and I thought, I got to sponsor this program on the last evening. And it's just been a tremendous presentation. Last night was the first one I saw, so I got to listen to Coach Smith, and I think Coach Smith said it all. One of the reasons I wanted to help sponsor the Comets and this series was it's about community. Mike kept repeating that. I'm sure Craig and Nat are going to talk about that. But we have a long history in Flagstaff, and thanks to Nat, I've learned a lot about the history in Flagstaff of running. And it's an amazing, diverse history that we should all be proud of. And Mike is carrying that forward at NAU, and I can't wait to see what Craig does with CCC. So with that, I'll turn it back to you, Megan, and I'll probably check out here, but stay and listen.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Neil. And we appreciate your support so much. It really does go to show that the community is what makes a program like this, because as I'll go over when we get a little farther into the program, these programs are going to be supported by charitable giving. And so to have you kick us off with such a generous gift is really, it means a lot to us. So thank you very much.
My pleasure.
All right. So now our next person. So we've got a couple of people on here, and if you know running, if you know astronomy, or if you know really Flagstaff or Northern Arizona in general, Nat White. And so Nat is with us in multiple regards, because as Dr. Smith pointed out, he's a part of the running community. He is I keep calling you the president of our governing board. And I know that's not the correct title. I saw that and I was like, oh crud, I said it wrong. He is the chair of our governing board. He represents Coconino Community College and represents our mission and understands what it means to care for our community as a publicly funded college. And So Nat is here to kind of give us the talk about, you know, what this really, I mean, truly what this means to CCC, why the governing board made the choice to move forward with this program, and the impact that it can have an athletic program to our Comet community.
Thank you, Megan. And I'll make this brief because we want to hear from Craig. He's our featured speaker here. But first of all, I'd like to thank you, Meg, for organizing this series and being master of ceremony and doing it so well. You're a professional.
Oh, thank you.
What I'd like to say, wave your pom poms.
Oh yeah, I gotta.
I really need to say a few words about Coconino Community College. It really exists to serve the educational and training needs of the folks of our county. And it covers the spectrum from workforce training to associate degrees to pathways to the university. How's that connected to running? It's connected directly to our vision statement. And there are four elements of it, but two that I want to particularly point to: empowering individuals, inspiring community, and cap that off with education with a purpose. And so there are many ways to inspire and empower our students. We've learned a lot of that from your webinar series, which is going to be something that will go into the archives, because it's a 6-chapter history of coaching, the inspiration of running, the love of running, the whole spectrum, and it's all recorded. But I think that inspiring and empowering students who may not be interested in education at first is one of the niches that an athletic team can fill. It's that little draw that gets you in and you find out education is not that bad. It's not that scary, especially at Coconino Community College. So I'm really excited about it personally, but the board, when this was brought before the board by, and not just the staff, but by community members, the board was unanimously behind it, because they understand also that education and the desire for education can take many paths. And another thing that was very important to the board is because, as you mentioned, we are funded by county taxes and by some money from the state and the fees that we charge for the students. We have to respond. And one of the ways, new ways and new opportunities, is this athletic team. It may not catch everybody. Of course, our student body won't double because of that, but there will be those folks that will get into it, and they will start a path that will go on in the educational realm that will benefit all of us. And as you point out, Megan, it's also a rallying cry for our Coconino Community College community. And I will finish by saying that the other thing that attracted the board to support this unanimously is that this team is funded by donations under the auspices of the CCC Foundation. So folks out there, your taxpayers are going to educate. Folks out there, your donations are going to sponsor a wonderful cross-country team and a great coach. And with that, I'd like to turn it over.
Awesome. Thank you so much for those awesome remarks, Nat. And I invite you to make sure that you keep tossing in your thoughts along the way, because I know you have you've got the background, you've got some great stories. I was able to join when Team Run Flagstaff had you come on to talk about the history of running in Flagstaff, and it was just so fun listening to some of the stories you had to tell about 20, 30 plus years ago and what the running community was like. So I invite you, please do continue to toss those in there. All right, now it is time for the man of the hour, So I'm gonna go ahead and toss out his, I don't think I grabbed much that we don't already know, but so Craig graduated in 2014 from Central Connecticut State University with a bachelor's degree in physical and health education. His decorated running career includes finishing 10th at the 2019 50-kilometer World Championships and 45th at the 2020 US Olympic Marathon Trials. Craig has coached for Grand Canyon University and the University of Illinois and currently works as the lead physio trainer at the Physio Shop in Flagstaff. Craig, welcome to Coconino Community College, and thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you. It's an honor. I'm so proud to, be Coconino Community College's first cross country coach. And, I want to thank you, Megan, for putting this amazing series on, and everyone that's spoken before me and everyone that, has been a part of creating this program and getting it up and off the ground. I know it wasn't an easy challenge at all. But here we are. We're going to have our first season in the fall, and
oh my gosh.
I'm looking forward to it.
It's incredible considering where we were a year ago and how we were kicking off this program in February of 2020, thinking that the world was ahead of us, and then March happened and everyone went, oh, I guess we're gonna have to wait. And now it really does kind of feel like a rebirth of sorts. This opportunity, this deep breath that we're all taking, realizing that there's so many exciting opportunities on the horizon. And so that leads me to wonder, so I want to know, who is Craig Hunt? What got you started in running? Tell us your running journey, because you have got some impressive stuff to your name. There's a couple of things that I'm going to point out here. One that I looked up was that you have run a 100K and
Yep.
that you did it in 6 hours and 55 minutes and got 6th place. And for those of you who don't have a calculator handy, and I did have to Google this because I don't know how many miles are Ks. A 100K is 62 miles, and he ran that at an average of like 6.5 minutes per mile. Like,
Yeah, something like that.
I read that and I was like, I think I got tired just reading that information. So I'm curious, because you have an ultra marathoner kind of foundation in you. So tell us a little bit about this running journey. Where'd you start and what got you to where you are?
Yeah, I'll start at the beginning, because that 100K was only a couple months ago. So I'll kind of get to that, I guess, towards the end. So I grew up in Connecticut. It's where, majority of my family still is. And I just remember, I played soccer throughout my entire youth. And I just remember, once or twice a year, my dad would take me and my brother, and we'd do like a local 5K or a race just in town. There were like weekend race series that we would do every once in a while. So I just remember, doing those local races with my brother, my older brother, and my dad. And soccer kind of always kept me in shape to do that. And I just, over the years, at 7th grade, 8th grade, I realized that I was decent at soccer, but the thing that made me the best at soccer was that I played every single minute, and I was the kid running up and down the field nonstop. And at that point, my brother was already in high school and he was running cross country, so I knew that I was going to follow in his footsteps and be a runner. And I'm pretty lucky. Flagstaff has a great running community. My hometown did too, New Milford, Connecticut. My high school cross country team had won like 6 straight conference titles before I even stepped foot on the team. And then, we won 4 straight when, as soon as I joined the team as well. So to be part of like a winning community and a supportive, team and community at the high school level was amazing. And then, so I had a lot of success at the high school level. It was all state, all conference, and knew that I wanted to run in college. And I think if it actually wasn't for my success in running and athletics, I don't know if I would have gone on to get, a college degree. I think I would have looked more into joining the military or, a branch of the armed services. But because of running, it encouraged me to, pursue a higher education. So I found my way to Central Connecticut State University, where I had a lot of success too. We won 5 straight cross country titles while I was there. I won 6 individual conference titles, and I was the first individual to qualify for a national championship in our entire conference in about 10 years or so. So not only did I have my school rallying behind me for my success as a runner, but my entire conference, my senior year, they were rooting for me, knowing I was the sole, representative for the conference at like the national championships in cross country, which was awesome. And then, after college, I knew I was going to continue to run, but I knew that ultimately I wanted to be a cross country coach and track coach. So I moved to Tucson, Arizona, not really with no plans at all. I just kind of knew I didn't want to move back home. And I just wanted to like get on with my life. I had my college degree and I was on top of the world at the time. Moved to Tucson, and actually, I reached out to like every university in Arizona, quickly realized it wasn't the size of Connecticut and you couldn't just drive to universities, like 5 different universities within 30 minutes or an hour. And the only school I was able to actually, kind of get a foot in the door was Grand Canyon University. And they offered me a volunteer coaching position and I took it in a heartbeat. So I commuted, not daily, but maybe 2-3 times a week from Tucson up to Phoenix.
Tucson? Oh my God.
Yep. Because that's how much I wanted to coach. That's how much I wanted to coach. And I knew it was a competitive career field. So I had to get my foot in the door. And I learned a ton there under Coach Michael Hoffman and Coach Tom Flood, who's the head coach there still now. They just taught me a ton. And I thought I was, I was just a really good runner. I thought that would just translate into being a good coach, which it did in a lot of aspects. But I just learned there was way more to coaching than just being a good runner. And then, so I spent a year there, and luckily enough, I was able to get an assistant coaching position at Western State Colorado University, where I spent 2 years, and I got to coach under some amazing coaches, national coaches of the year. Jen Michael, I coached under Lindsey Grasmick, who's a head track and coach there now. And then at the time, Chris Bradford was the head track and field coach there, and they all taught me so much, and that's where I learned, really the ins and outs of recruiting and budgeting and keeping your athletes eligible academically and that's where I really got the full taste of coaching and fully, fell in love with it, and knew that's what I wanted to do, for my career. After that, and all this time, now I'm in my coaching career, but I'm still running and training, but all that is definitely on the back burner. I always put my coaching first. But I was still running, staying in shape. I would run with the athletes every once in a while. After Western State, I was lucky enough to get a coaching opportunity at University of Illinois in the Big Ten Conference. And I was only there a year, but it probably had one of the biggest impacts on my coaching career. Under Coach Sarah Hoffman, she just had, a way with her words and how to motivate not only myself as an assistant, but, her athletes. And it was just an amazing opportunity to coach at such a big university and see such success, have my opportunity in helping coach, the university's first sub 4-minute miler, watching, some of the top female recruits in the country, get recruited to Illinois and see their success and development, and really be a part of that program regrowing again, because they had just restructured, their entire coaching staff. So being a part of that, and seeing how those athletes have grown, all the freshmen that I helped coach my year there, actually all just graduated this week. So it's been a lot of fun seeing on Instagram and social media, all these freshmen that I coached are now like graduating and going on to, bigger and better things. And it's hard to believe that it's already been 4 years and they're grown up.
Right.
And then, so after Illinois, I mean, I had a great coaching experience there, but I really realized that the Midwest wasn't my style. I didn't like cornfields all that much, and I wanted to get back to the mountains. I fell in love with Colorado and the mountains there, and Flagstaff was just like an amazing balance between everything. I had an awesome job offer at the physio shop where I'm now the lead personal trainer, and we offer physical therapy as well. And, you know, just being in a mountain town again, 7,000 feet altitude, amazing trails, like the running community. It just made so much sense at that time for me to kind of put a pause on my coaching career and pursue something that, you know, put me in a better environment where I could, you know, thrive as an individual and support myself, you know, emotionally, mentally, financially. You know, Flagstaff was just that perfect combination of everything. And because I wasn't coaching, I had an opportunity to really put my running, you know, in the front again. So I trained for the Olympic trials here, and ended up, like you said, I finished 45th, I believe 44th, somewhere right around there. And I actually had an amazing opportunity because my roommate Dylan finished right behind me. Literally, we have the same finishing time, but
Wow.
I outleaned him. So that was you know, a really cool moment. Kind of training through this for months and months, and you know, over a year for this race in Flagstaff, and sharing that moment with him and everyone else in the Flagstaff community. And then I've always wanted to run, you know, ultra races and trail races and stuff. So just back in, and I think it was January, I ran the Hoka One One Carbon X 100K road race down in Phoenix. And it was all set up to break the world record in the 100K. And I didn't break the 100K record. I didn't come close, but a fellow Flagstaff runner, Jim Walmsley, came within, I believe it was 11 seconds of the world record, which over 6 hours of running to miss it by 11 seconds is heartbreaking, but it's an amazing, you know, achievement in itself. But yeah, I ended up finishing, I think 6th, which it wasn't a very big race, so it was actually last place. But I was the last one to stick with Jim Walmsley, and I believe I went through about 70K on world record pace, and then faded pretty hard. So that was you know, a great experience, and it was my first 100K, and then I actually tried to, I think it was 3 weeks later, run another 100K, the Black Canyon 100K trail race, and ended up pulling out at about 53 miles. It was pretty hard to double back and run 200Ks within 3 weeks. So I kind of pulled the plug on that because I didn't want to, you know, dig the hole that I was in any deeper. And then I even, you know, I wanted to be the CCC coach. So I applied during that first round, you know, over a year ago, and then applied again, and lucky enough to finally see this all come together. And you know, I'm back in coaching. This is what I want to do. And even though I'm a successful runner, I want to be a successful coach over anything.
That's great. So aside from the current actionable stuff that you have to worry about, the foundational planning, what are your aspirations for, what are your dreams for this gig, for the team in the future?
Yeah, I always like, you know, I'm dreaming big. I love to dream big, but I also dream realistically, you know, for those benchmark points. So ultimately, you know, my big dream is I want to win individual national titles with CCC and team national titles. And I think my dream would for CCC athletes to win a team national title and then see those athletes go on to a 4-year university and win a national title at that division as well, whether that's Division I or Division II or NAU or another program. I think that is my like ultimate dream come true, is for one of CCC's alumni to win a national title for us, and then go on and have that same experience at another university at a higher level. That would be amazing. In the short term, I want to field a team for this fall. That's a big challenge right now. You know, a lot of the recruiting has already taken place, so I'm trying to get to a team together, you know, with students that aren't currently, you know, attending college, or current students that we already have that are at CCC already. You know, getting a team for this fall and then building that every year and never looking back, knowing that, you know, if we have a roster of 5 guys and 5 girls this year, that's going to be the smallest roster we ever have. And we're going to grow it and we're going to have a bigger team every year, which is just going to contribute to the community and the college. And we're going to finish higher at the conference meet, you know, every year, and regionals and nationals. And hopefully we can get a pretty good streak of going to nationals, you know, every single year from year one.
Definitely. So what kind of coaching philosophy do you plan on bringing to these teams?
Yeah, you know, I think, you know, Coach Smith at NAU really hit upon it yesterday when he just, you know, the culture of your team really needs to be on par. Like you need to have teammates that are supportive of each other and the program and the college, not only for running, but academics and, you know, just each other's life. You know, you're going to go, these are people you're going to spend 2 years with, and then probably the rest of your life with, keeping in contact. So you want to have a great culture to where you're not only teammates, but you're best friends, and those people, you know, basically become family to you. You know, with that, I think the culture is going to shift a little every year. You're not going to have the same style student athletes every year. Everyone's going to have different learning styles, the different ways they're motivated, different training styles. So my training philosophy, my coaching philosophy in that aspect will, you know, vary year to year and team to team to really mold to the individuals that I have on the roster. You know, just because one team, you know, wins a national title with, you know, X, Y, and Z workouts doesn't mean those exact workouts are going to, you know, work for a team 10 years later. Because those are different people, different athletes, different, you know, experiences. But I believe a lot in individualization, consistency in training, and then believing in your coaching. If you could have the best coach in the world, but if you don't actually believe in what you're doing, it's not gonna pan out, and you're not gonna, you know, hit your ceiling. You're not gonna live up to your expectations.
Right. Well, that is a perfect, that's a perfect stopping point for us for just a quick moment while we just let everybody know real fast about how you can get involved with these teams and offer your support. So I have my little, okay, I think I actually did this right this time. Yesterday when I copy pasted everything, it came out kind of funky looking. So as we mentioned at the very beginning, our teams are going to be supported entirely by charitable giving. So if you are interested in supporting our teams, we certainly hope you'll consider it. There is a link on there. It's the coconino.edu/cross country comets. You can go on there and you can make a gift, and it'll help support the teams in every way you can imagine, whether it's travel, whether it's gear, whether it's things that I'm literally not aware of because I'm not a coach. We're looking for support in that way. If you know a local business owner, a local organization who'd be interested in acting as a sponsor, Diana Sanchez is the perfect person to talk to, and her email address is in the chat. The other way you can get involved, we want our community champions to get involved with us. So if you want to know when the meets are going to be, if you want to know when volunteer opportunities are going to come up, there is a constant contact link there where you can subscribe to the email list. I have a feeling I'll probably be the one who's overseeing that list because I'm going to want to have an excuse to go to all the meets. So, and also I'm the one with the pom-poms, so I'll be the one who hands all those out. So make sure you subscribe to that email list. And then last but not least, any interested athletes who are out there who want to run with Coach Hunt, that last link there, coconino.edu/athletics, is where you will find the interest form that you can fill out and get yourself on that list for contact. And then I want to make sure I got to do my thank yous one more time, because we've got so many incredible people who have made the creation of these teams possible. Of course, I'd be remiss not to include Nat White, who, according to my screen, is below me, but that's because I've got everything smushed to the side. So he's somewhere nearby, but we've got to thank Nat for his support of the college, for his participation on the committee, helping us plan everything, helping us get in touch with people, just being a general cheerleader and positive presence in every way. We appreciate you so much, Nat. I'm not sure. Yeah, my list of everything is all scrunched up. So Reggie Eccleston, if you are there, thank you so much for your time, sir. Doug, oh yeah, I see Doug. Doug's on there. I know Doug was the one who emailed me and said that I need to make sure I include a few other people on the list, but I still got to make sure I give you your due as well. Trina Painter, Flagstaff High School Boys and Girls Cross Country Coach, Arizona Coach of the Year, fabulous person. Scott Talboom also took part in all of this at the very beginning. Andy Phillips, who I believe Doug had pointed out, his company helped start our fundraising process, which is a huge deal. Ron Hurley. And then a huge thank you goes out to our leadership here at Coconino Community College, Dietrich Sauer, my fabulous boss, Kay Liam, Steve Peru, who has since left to be the county manager for Coconino County. So he's way up here now. Tony Williams, our Dean of Students and Athletic Director, and of course, President Smith for your leadership, and to our Coconino Community College Governing Board for believing in this team of people who have pulled everything together. We appreciate all of you so much. And yeah, that's that was my mouthful there. And so now I'm gonna switch back over to my other document that has my other questions on it. So Craig, I gotta ask you, what challenges do you anticipate in all of this? Because I know there's probably a slew of them, but is there anything in particular that stands out to you? Something that you're like, you know you've got to attack this to find success?
Oh man, what challenges aren't there? You know, whether you're at CCC or NAU or any other, you know, college or university, there's challenges, you know, that you know, come at you every day. And, you know, obviously there's you know, the fundraising and the budgeting and finding a roster and stuff. But, you know, once we have everything established, I actually think, you know, one of the biggest challenges is, you know, being competitive. A lot of people don't know this, but Central Arizona is another community college in Arizona here. They're in our conference, they're in our region, and they have the most national titles out of any college, junior college in the country.
What? I did
so
not know
we
that.
have one of the most, our biggest competitor, we're going to go head to head with multiple times each season. So I think that's going to be a huge challenge. And then Paradise Valley has won national titles before in cross country. So, you know, I think it's a challenge that we're going to accept, and to be able to compare yourself to the nation's, you know, top ranked colleges every year, you know, weekend after weekend is just going to be an amazing opportunity. A lot of colleges don't have that opportunity until they actually get to the regional or the national level. But to see how we're developing, you know, is going to be really exciting, but it's going to be a big challenge just to be competitive within Arizona. But we're ready to rise to the occasion. And I think Flagstaff and CCC are going to be a really appealing college to a lot of athletes, and they're going to want to come to CCC. And you know, just the culture that we have, the community that we have, the environment, like Flagstaff has that whole package now that we have a team at CCC. So we're going to see that success come a lot quicker than I think a lot of other colleges.
Definitely. So Paul wants to know, and I'm not sure if you know this or not, Craig, but he wants to know, will there be a home course and opportunities to watch the team? Has that discussion taken place at all yet?
Yeah, so right now we don't have an official home course or you know, a home meet that we'll be participating at. We'll probably get that, you know, in the coming years, but this first season there's a lot to tackle, and hosting a home meet isn't on that slate quite yet. But NAU has a home meet every year, the George Kite Invitational. It's right at Buffalo Park. I believe it's going to be early September this year. Hopefully they're still hosting it after all the COVID stuff, but If they host that meet, we will absolutely be there, and you can come out to Buffalo Park and not only cheer us on, but cheer NAU on. And it's paired with a high school meet too, so you can cheer on Flagstaff High and Coconino High and Basis and all the other schools in town. Kind of, culminating everybody in town, one big running opportunity.
I love that. I've literally thought that needs to be a thing, because I love the idea of supporting all of the community. Like, you've got so many different levels to it. And I'm not kidding. If everybody who gets on that email list, I will show up and I will have a bag of pom-poms and we'll all get a little group together. So Carletta wants to know, what race do you anticipate will be the most grueling? And I'm not sure if you're familiar with the races that you'll be participating in, but have you got any familiarity with that yet?
Races that'll be like most grueling for the cross country team, for my athletes?
I would assume so.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be different for each individual. I think if we have some athletes that are new to altitude, that NAU meet, our very first race, will probably be the most grueling and challenging race that they experience. And then obviously probably the regional or the national championships, just because that's going to be the highest level, the most competition that our athletes experience, and biggest field. So a lot of our meets will be smaller, teams, maybe 2, 3, maybe 5 teams competing. And you go to a national championship and you have 20, 30, 40 teams on the line. Just the mass amount of people can sometimes be a shock to a lot of people, and that's at the highest level. So you're kind of throwing like, the biggest competition and then the biggest race and, the fastest runners all at once. So that will most certainly be one of the more grueling races for the athletes. But I mean, our whole training will be to prepare them for that. So hopefully they're ready for it once they toe the line.
Good. Well, and hopefully they're already used to high altitude if they're local. But I suppose there are parts of Coconino, with how big Coconino County is. I mean, we have a drop of does it get down to maybe 5,000 feet at a lower end? Nat, I feel like this is something you would know.
Oh, Sedona's down around 4,000 feet.
Oh yeah, I forget that we have a little piece of Sedona, which is super weird, because then you've got Yavapai County right there. But
and you also got to think we'll probably draw attention a lot from the valley too, like Phoenix, even kids outside of Coconino County. I think will, Flagstaff has a draw. If we have a running team, kids want to be a part of it. So
right.
Yeah, we're gonna have kids coming from 2,000 feet or even lower, most likely.
That is, and boy, I will always remember the first time I tried to go for a run after moving up from the valley, and how it was just like a cute little hill. It was like, the gentle crest of a road in your neighborhood. And I remembered stopping and wondering if I was having an asthma attack, and I don't have asthma. So that's really fun. So with your, go ahead, Nat.
Yeah, just from a practical side, you've coached where there's been money just flowing all over, say in Illinois, and you've coached in places or worked with places where there was, and maybe even your high school, I don't know, where the facilities were not that great, and we're starting at CCC, or we're starting from scratch. How do you see approaching a bare bones program like this?
Yeah, that's a great question. And, I definitely plan on drawing from all my experiences. No one experience that I had at a university is going to relate directly to CCC and, the building of a program. But, there's a lot of aspects from each one that I can definitely use and utilize to build this program. When I was at Western State, Colorado, it's very similar environment. We were at 7,000 feet. We had to fundraise every year. We had to fundraise to, get enough money to go to the national championship, to go to the invitationals where our athletes could qualify. And, that's going to relate directly to CCC. We're at 7,000 feet. We're fundraising to support the program. Like I mentioned earlier, at University of Illinois, we went under, kind of redeveloping, restructuring our entire coaching staff there. You know, they used to be separate men's programs, separate women's program, and they merged them both the year I arrived. So developing the team culture that we envisioned, you know, it was a big change for the athletes. So taking that experience there and using it to build the program and build the culture, I think will relate a lot. And then, you know, when I was at Grand Canyon University, obviously it's in Arizona, so I know the region pretty well. I helped recruit some of the athletes there, so knowing the region, how schools down in the valley work, and you know, living here in Flagstaff now, you know, it's all gonna give me the experiences as a whole to develop, you know, the CCC cross country program.
With your ultra runner background, I mean, you are familiar with the act of running absolutely insane distances, and I do mean insane in the literal sense, because I hear that often, that ultra runners tend to be a little bit nuts in order to enjoy doing what they do. How does your experience as an ultra runner influence how you intend to train your athletes?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it gives me a perspective on how not to train, you know, cross country runner in a lot of ways, in more ways than it would inspire me to train, you know, a cross country runner. You got to think that they're training for, you know, a 25 to 30 minute race, or I mean, if they're running 5Ks, you know, a little shorter. So they're running much shorter distances. They need different workouts. They're using different energy systems compared to an ultra runner, which half of that is just trying to survive and get to the finish line. You're not necessarily trying to run super fast in 100K or, you know, even a 50K or sometimes a marathon. So yeah, it's gonna influence me in more ways on how not to coach a cross country team than how to actually coach them. I'll definitely draw upon more of my experience coaching that I've done at the college level for the cross country distances and 5K and 10K distances. And I'll let my ultra running, you know, be on the side.
I see we've got Doug jumped on the Q&A, and it's not really a question, it's more of a statement, but I'll read it anyways. He says, welcome aboard, Craig. Thank you for taking on this challenge. We now look forward to all of the next steps. It'll be a thrill for all of us to watch the CCC runners compete locally and around the state and eventually around the country. Good luck.
Thanks, Doug.
Thank you, Doug. All right, so I have to share, in the process of preparing for this chat, I had done some searching around, and I was like, I need to learn a little bit more about Craig. And I came to the page where your profile was featured for the Olympic trials. And I did a double take when I saw the photo that you have. So I'm gonna go ahead and share this. And I cracked up laughing. And so I'm very curious, what can you give us the story behind the cardboard box running man here?
Yeah, absolutely. I've gotten so many questions about it, but so yeah, that's my profile for the Olympic trials, and they asked us to submit a photo, and I scrolled through like a lot of the other athletes, and it was just like a picture of them running, like pretty classic, and nothing stood out. Like I wasn't like, oh, I really want to click on this person's profile to see what they're all about. So I knew I wanted to submit something different than everyone else. And so that photo was taken at my time at Western State Colorado University. So I was in Gunnison, Colorado, and one of my athletes put on a local 5K race to support the Special Olympics group that we had in town and raise money and funds for them. And she asked me to run. And she said it was all for fun, like people are going to wear costumes, so come wear a costume, you know, draw attention. So I had a box in my living room from, I don't know, someone bought a piece of furniture or something. So I just literally, I was 10 minutes away from walking out the door, and I just punched some holes through the side, and I wore that box at the 5K race. And I tried to run pretty quickly. I finished second overall. I think I ran like a 16:30 5K at 7,700 feet. So
Wow. And
Yeah,
that's
I
just a
think,
wind drag.
yeah, it was, I talked to the guy that won the race. I talked to him afterwards, and he was like, yeah, I thought you were just gonna fall off after a couple 100 meters, but then we got to mile 2 and I started getting really worried, and I told myself I can't lose to a guy in a box. So he kind of like took off, and the hardest thing for me is like I couldn't really see out of the box. I had only like had a little slit, and so I couldn't see. It was kind of muddy that day, and I couldn't see really where I was stepping. So he just threw in a hard surge, and I literally like couldn't even see that he was like going ahead of me before it was too late. But yeah, it's a pretty funny photo, and yeah, one of the local newspaper guys snapped that photo, so it was just perfect. It was high quality. It was me, nice action shot. So yeah, I submitted that for the Olympic trials. They actually asked me to change it, and I just ignored that email because I was like, no, this is funny.
Matt, is it all right to say something?
Oh yeah, you go right ahead. Sorry, I should have given, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that that's a runner's nightmare to be boxed in at the end of the race.
Perfect.
Well played, Nat. Well played. So we've got Ricardo is asking, will CCC and Craig, will you be hiring an assistant coach or bringing on volunteer coaches? What are your plans there?
Yeah, so there's definitely a lot on the plate right now. So probably in the next week or two, you won't see us reaching out specifically about that, but definitely I envision having some volunteer coaches on staff to help, implement the workouts and drive some vans and coach the team and be a part of the whole thing. So yes, kind of keep your eye out for, a social media post or, an email or something of us kind of making that step forward to look for some volunteer coaches. Or if you're going to be interested, feel free to just email me your resume. I'll try to get back to you, but currently I'm not actively searching. I'm just trying to get all the pieces in a row right now. But I definitely will be looking for some volunteer assistant coaches.
Awesome. And then we have a question: how many credits are required for the students to run for the team?
That is a great question. So to run for CCC, you need to be a full-time student, which is 12 credits. And you cannot fall below 12 credits. So you can't be sneaky and start with 12 credits and then drop all your classes. That will not only get you unqualified to participate, but you can actually get the college in a little bit of trouble if we let you race without knowing that.
Good things to know.
And maybe if Colleen's still listening, she could say how much tuition is that. And of course, there are Pell Grants and various other ways to support that.
We have lots of scholarships and ways that we're going to be working to support the team. And yes, there's federal financial aid. And so we need to get people filling out that FAFSA and working with them immediately. And our depending on whether you take 12 credits or 15 credits, which sometimes students do a semester, for a year, it's a little over $3,000. So at least $1,500 a semester is where we'd be.
Thank you, Dr. Smith.
And we've got great people that really help our students in every way they can understand financial aid, federal financial aid, and how to go about this.
I have to say, since working for CCC, I've never met a group of people more dedicated to truly putting students first. It's not just a phrase that we toss around lightly. People really are, they know why we're here. So that's part of the reason why I'm so excited about this, is because the benefit for the students is really unparalleled. All right, so I have one final question for Craig, for Nat. Dr. Smith, you're welcome to toss in too. Craig, I know you were able to join us for just about all of the webinars this week. what are some key takeaways that you got out of the webinar series, out of hearing from all these incredible people from around Coconino County who have done so many amazing things in our running community?
Yeah, I mean, there were just so many points that, I took notes and stuff, from Alvina talking about her experiences and, the view that a lot of, the Navajo Nation athletes have and what it takes to recruit them. The page coaches had a huge influence with their community and how, we can be more supportive, and how a lot of those page runners want to go on to, run further. They just need someone to kind of reach out and help them guide the way. And then Coach Smith, Coach Ben Rosario, like they just had some great insights on, coaching at higher levels and building the programs. Mike Smith was pretty amazing last night. I loved what he had to say about, that the NAU team, was it 2019, where they are expecting to win a national title and they finished second, and how, he really didn't hide the fact that they lost to any other athletes. He said, no, this is reality. This is what happened. Like, don't try to hide it. Let's just, pick each other up, and we're going to move forward, and we're going to learn from this situation. So he's definitely someone I envision learning a lot from in the future, and hopefully I can teach him a thing or two as well. But I've learned so much from, everyone that's spoken this week, and I think they're going to be huge supporters of the program, this season and in the future. And I'm already supporters of all of them. So we'll continue that relationship.
Awesome. Nat, what about you? Oh, I'm so sorry, Dr. Smith, you were about to go.
I was just going to, I was going to say something just from listening to Craig. And then I've only had an opportunity, I was out of town and then I had a board meeting last night. So I've only had an opportunity to attend 2 of these. But one of the things that I see that I think is so important is the idea of what I'm hearing your philosophy and your goals are for student athletes. And I honestly believe when I hear you talk that it's about those relationships which can make a difference in the rest of their lives and can make a difference in them being successful in their education. Having been working in community colleges for 40 years, and I've worked with a variety of different kinds of coaches and with the NJCAA, and always the coaches who I think have been the most successful and who certainly have earned my respect are the coaches who truly care about the person above all, above winning, above everything. They care about the person and the relationships. And then that's what helps those student athletes be successful in their education and be successful as they go on through life, because they feel like they have people who care, and that makes such a difference. And so I appreciate hearing those things in you, Craig, and I look forward to you coaching for us. I think that's wonderful.
Thank you, Dr. Smith.
And I can actually elaborate a little bit on that. I totally agree with that. And what I've learned, I knew, but what I was reinforced over these 6 webinars is that cross country attracts individuals, but in a cross country team, they become a community, and vice versa. The coach sees that team as individuals. And it's not just the leading individual, the best runner, but it's the whole team. And it's the least of those that coaches see their value and work with them. So it's a combination of attracting individuals who are willing to work on their own, to run hard, to do what's necessary, but also to be melded into a team with a coach who can see each one of that team member as being an individual.
Well said. And I have to just point out real quick that, and I assume, I'm hoping I'm okay with saying it, Tony had posted that he received communication that CCC is eligible to compete in the postseason if we qualify in November of 2021, which I don't believe we thought that was going to be possible. So that's very exciting. And it's just one more thing that can just ramp up the enthusiasm that much more.
Yeah, that's really exciting. That's the first I've heard that. We've been waiting to hear, if we would be eligible for the national championships, because you need to do a little probation period when you are first established. So we got that official word. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So now we got to field the team, and we'll be going to the national championships.
Oh yeah, Tony said he just got the email minutes ago. So it's almost like they knew that this would be the best place that everybody could find out about it. So with that, Craig, do you want to close us out with, go ahead and just talk to our community. What do you look forward to the most? How do you want people to get involved with this team going forward? And I'm not very good at explaining this, but give us your rah-rah speech.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, first off, I just want to thank everyone again for coming out and watching this webinar series, and everyone that put it together and got this program going. I wouldn't be here without everyone that, did all the hard work ahead of me. To the community, come support us in any way possible. If that's, donating, coming out to races, once you're, coming out and meeting the team, maybe joining us, hopefully we'll go to some group runs that are in town and you can meet the athletes, meet me in person, just support us in any way. Social media posts, little things like that go a long way. And, I think our team is definitely going to be supportive of the community and try to participate in a lot of running activities that are already established here in town, and, give our time volunteering and stuff. So any way that the community can, give that right back is going to be super, super appreciated and helpful. And we just look forward to hopefully building a program that everyone can rally behind and really be proud of, and not only CCC athletes and students that are already a part of the college can rally behind, but the entire community, just like they have with NAU and Flag High and Coco and all the other schools. We want to be a part of that, and we want you guys to rally behind us and cheer us on through thick and thin.
And we definitely will. I know, I'm not kidding. I've got a lot of pom-poms, and I'll probably buy more. So I want everybody to come over to our Lone Tree campus when we're allowed to have people come to the Lone Tree campus. Maybe not quite yet, but we'll make sure we let you know how you can get involved with us. I'm going to send out just a big old email to everybody after this with all of our recordings, all of the sources, all of the fun stuff to keep you occupied if you missed anything along the way. Craig, thank you so much for joining us tonight, for giving us your vision, for telling us all of the reasons why we need to be excited about this fall season. And I think I speak for everyone when I say we are very excited to cheer for our cross-country Comets.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. It has been a fabulous 6 webinar series. Thank you all for joining me on this crazy, awesome, fun, exhausting journey. I appreciate everyone's time. I appreciate everyone's support. We will look forward to seeing you again soon, hopefully at the Summer Learning Series in June. And I will talk to you all soon. Have a wonderful evening. Good night.